derailed. He was assassinated. He wasn't able to carry this out. But it's possible, which is why we have some hope for Obama, that he could have that kind of Damascus Road conversion experience like Kennedy did after the Cuban Missile Crisis.
What role, though, does the demos have in pushing him in that direction? Because it is foreign policy typically that the American voter, I think, feels least empowered to engage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We can say stuff about domestic issues, but it's foreign policy that either we don't feel expert enough, we don't feel that we have enough data in front of us, we don't feel that there's agency there to
Not so sure, because in 2003 there were more protesters in the streets of the United States than there had ever been. Not since this nuclear freeze movement in the 1980s. So don't underestimate the power of people to demonstrate when they're upset. They would be very upset right now if some silly war was declared. I believe you could not get away with Iran, so perhaps hopefully nothing will happen there. But foreign policy, notoriously, it's always, Nixon used to say, you know, it comes down to jobs. It's always jobs, and that's what they were talking about the other night: jobs, security. And nobody cares about the environment, is what they're both saying to us, because my job is at stake. I'm a coal miner. I'm a this. I'm a that. And if you cut back on, you get too much government regulation, and I'm going to lose my job. That's the fear that they always play to. They play to fear of your security, of your job, of the dollar, and it works every time to get votes.
And fear of terrorism. But as we know, there are times when the public has mobilized very strongly on foreign policy, and Vietnam War was one of those times.
And nuclear protests.
And we know from Nixon's comments, he was obsessed with the anti-war protests. We can create that again. It's always more difficult with an Obama in office than it would be if Bush were doing the same in office, doing the same things. Then there would be much more protest.
I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm glad I have another night to discuss this. I mentioned a moment ago that there are at least 3 overarching themes in this book that I saw, and we've just talked tonight about militarism. But tomorrow night I want to get to the second one, which is this divide between the rich and the poor in this country. And then the third one, the issue of civil liberties, and all these issues are approached in a variety of ways in this new book. And it's called The Untold History of the United States, the companion to the Showtime documentary series starting next week with Oliver Stone and Peter Kuznick. Good to have you both on. I will see you back on this couch in